to another episode of Open Here with me, NB Andy. As usual, we're here today to discuss any issues around being queer, non-binary, any questions you have about sexuality, etc, etc. And the whole point of the channel is to raise awareness, people like myself face within the UK, to increase understanding so people have a better idea of what it's like to be non-binary and to make things a bit easier for us. So we get questions sent in by the viewers and I go through the questions and we'll discuss in detail, and you get a chance to send in your questions at the end for future episodes as well. So the questions that I've received this week are: any tips on raising non-binary kids? What was the moment that I just knew? And then, I feel so guilty if I get pronouns wrong. Is it okay to ask? So we'll go through them step by step. So the first question: any tips on raising non-binary kids? Now, I personally, my kids haven't come out as non-binary, so I haven't got personal lived-in experience of how to raise non-binary kids. But what I can do is give a kind of understanding of what I feel would help and what would have helped me as a kid being non-binary. So the most important thing I would say is to be as accepting as possible to your kids. Obviously you love your kid and you love your children, otherwise you wouldn't have them. And you want to make them aware that no matter who they are, no matter how they identify, they'll always be loved and accepted by you. And it's, it's easy enough to make them feel that way, but tell them. Make sure you voice that opinion. Make sure they are more than aware of how you feel about them. So it's not just as simple as, you make them feel loved. You're telling them that no matter who you are, you're accepted. And do that constantly. Make them aware all the time that they're valid, they're loved, and you accept who they are. Your children might want to explore with different clothing. If they were assigned female at birth, they might want to try more masculine clothing, they might want to cut the hair. And obviously, when it comes to things like haircuts, you need to take into account rules from school. But at the same time, if they want to cut their hair short, and young boys have their hair cut short, why can't someone who's assigned female at birth have a short haircut? And like I say, they might want to explore more masculine types of clothing. And the same goes if someone who's assigned male at birth, they might want to try maybe growing the hair out, painting the nails, trying jewellery, trying more feminine styles of clothes. And it's about supporting them and being there if they get bullied, because sad fact of life, if they're in school, they're going to get bullied for trying to be who they are. Speak to the schools as much as you can, make the school aware of what your child's going through and what they're doing to explore their gender identity, and just be there for them as much as you possibly can. Be the shoulder that they need if they need to cry on, and just love them and accept them for who they are. The second question was, what was the moment that I just knew? Difficult to pinpoint exactly. It was during lockdown, the first lockdown we went through in March 2020, which now feels about a million years ago. I started looking into, I stumbled upon the term non-binary more than anything else. I followed a few LGBTQ plus accounts on Instagram, or I was already out as pansexual, so I was already in touch with a few people. And I started gaining understanding of this other label about gender identity. Previously I hadn't considered it too much. In the past I had dabbled with more feminine underwear, should we say, and it felt right, but I didn't really join any dots, because I didn't know there were any dots to join. I didn't know about non-binary at the time. So it was during the lockdowns when I gained more of an understanding of what's out there, and that there is other options of being X or Y, or being man or woman. I knew I wasn't trans, I knew I wasn't a trans person, but getting that understanding helped me realise that I wasn't a man either, and I didn't identify as a woman. So then it was the kind of light bulb moment of, well, hold on, if this thing exists, and then doing the kind of looking back into your past, and there's the light bulb moments of, well, oh, this happened because actually I felt like this, and XYZ happened because I wasn't happy with how I was feeling, and I had a lot of depression for most of my adult life, and I had therapy, I had CBT, I had one-on-one counselling sessions, and they felt more like kind of plasters over an open wound. Nothing seemed to really work, and it turns out that the main issue that I was having was my gender identity without actually realising that was the issue. So yeah, it was during the lockdowns, that was my light bulb moment, that was when I knew. But it took me a good 6 months more of looking into things and gaining the kind of courage to come out. I had some really supportive friends online who knew what I was going through and talked me through things and reassured me that I was doing the right thing. And then, yeah, I came out and here I am now. So lockdowns definitely changed a lot of things for a lot of people. And the final topic I got sent in was, I feel so guilty if I get pronouns wrong. Is it okay to ask? So, yes, it's absolutely okay to ask. If you see someone you want to speak to and you're not sure of their pronouns, by all means ask. You're never going to get a bad response from someone who's non-binary or trans for putting that effort in to make sure that you're asking the correct pronouns. It's always okay to ask. It's always brilliant to ask, because we then know that you're putting the effort in to make sure you know us and make sure you speak to us correctly, and it's a lovely feeling when that happens. At the same time, if you do get someone's pronouns wrong, if you're coming from a place where it's not intentional, you're not doing it to misgender someone on purpose, and you're not trying to hurt someone, we understand people make mistakes. If you've known someone for a long time and they've changed their pronouns and you slip up, just apologise, don't make a big deal, and then use the correct pronouns. It's one of those things, it's a change in culture, it's a change in language, and we understand that, it may take a bit of time, but we know that you're putting the effort in, we know that you're not trying to hurt us by doing it. So yeah, it's absolutely okay to ask pronouns, and it's one of those things that the more people who do ask pronouns upon meeting people, the more regular it's going to become, the more normal it's going to become, and the less of an issue it's going to become. So yeah, if you meet someone new and you want to ask the pronouns, please do. It's a brilliant way to increase inclusivity and to make sure people aren't misgendered. So yeah, brilliant question. And yeah, make sure you do ask people's pronouns. So those are the questions that I received for this week's episode. Again, this is when we open the floor to you and we ask you to come in with your questions. Any questions on being queer, sexual identity, gender identity, anything like that at all, that you would normally be unsure how to ask or how to ask, reach out to me in the comment section or on my social media. Put those questions forward and we can make sure we include those on future episodes. At the same time, make sure you like, share and subscribe to the videos. The more that people watch these videos, the more awareness of being non-binary is increased and the fairer society becomes. Fingers crossed. So in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Please make sure you like, share and subscribe. Make sure you're friendly and safe with yourself. And take care of yourselves, and I shall catch you next time. Take care.